much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 7, part 3 of the reunion. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So before we get into it, we're going to get a little spicy, and we're going to talk about Katie Ross. So Katie, ooh, girl, Katie. So if you know who Katie Ross is, or if you don't know, I explain. Katie was a part of season 1 of Real Housewives of Potomac. She ended up being kicked off after season 1, and Monique Samuels replaced her. We didn't see Katie till season 4, where she was wearing them witness protection wigs, and then she abruptly left during the what's it called? The cash trip. And then we saw her at the beginning of this season, season 7, where she had her head shaved and she was wearing them contacts looking like a cat. And if you also don't know, Katie has been in recovery for substance abuse. So she's very vocal about that. She's very vocal about, being in recovery and trying to live a sober lifestyle. Well, Katie took to Twitter around maybe 10 o'clock on Saturday night, and then she tweeted until like 1 something into the morning, and then woke up again and started to tweet until like the afternoon of Sunday. So the tweet that really started all of this and got the people going was when she said this: maybe next season on #RHOP, they will ask at Sharice Jordan about the night we had sex and I lied for her so she could get her settlement money. Or her settlement, Maybe. I'm not bitter, just saying. Or maybe she is entertaining and will be amazed as ... Never. I never lied. Told Karen first. Told my mom I don't lie. Then people were in the comments being like, girl, you're outing her. Why would you say that? So she responded by saying, I never outed anyone. That is a term used in the past when people were ashamed of their sexuality. I protected my friend, but yeah, I don't lie. Told my executive producers also, I don't lie. It's the truth. So here's my thing. Who cares? It's 2023. I don't care if you smushing purses together. It does not do anything for me. Like, it's not like, oh my gosh, it's not doing that. That's not doing anything for us. My issue is, what does this add to the show? Like, you're not adding anything to the reunion. You're just saying this because you want it to be salacious and you want people to notice you. Now, do I believe it happened? Probably. Because Sharice was going through a bitter divorce and Katie was going through what she was going through with her ex-husband or her ex-fiance or ex-boyfriend. So I can see it definitely happening. But why is that news to us, or why do we need to know this? This doesn't add to anything. It doesn't aid in anything. You're just saying it just to say it, and it doesn't make sense to me. She then went on to have like another barrage of tweets where she did one where she talking about her best friend getting married and how happy she was for her. She then talked about how recovery is not a one-day thing, not a 1-month thing. It is a lifelong experience, and she loves her life and she's going to keep helping people understand it. She then continued talking about a blogger who, I guess this story had been out years ago or maybe a couple of months ago by this blogger called the Black Socialite. And Katie knew about it. She said that Sharice was the one that gave the blogger the information, and they used to be and had him on the payroll. And she said Sharice told her she did it. She forgave her, but her feelings were hurt. And she was like, should I sue her for $2 million like Michael? She continued with saying she don't lie. She just was trying to help her friend out, and she came clean, and it's easier for her to come clean when she's sober. She did the one thing where she was like making a public service announcement because people was telling Katie to like put the phone down, but she was saying like Twitter is for you to like tweet into the void and get your feelings out and tweet live, and if you don't like it, just unfollow her. She then posted a picture of her dad and some other stuff referencing her father that didn't really make sense, but she was just saying how much she loved her dad, and not a day goes by where she doesn't think about him, which I don't know if that means he's passed away or they just don't have a good relationship due to like maybe things that she's done while she was inebriated or under the influence. She then started going off on Ashley because I guess Ashley was on Watch What Happens Live and Katie was a topic of conversation, and Ashley said that Katie's vajayjay wasn't that great and how like it wasn't amazing. So then Katie was like, well, at least I don't got fake boobs. Then she started saying that she was going to sue Ashley for what she said because that was like defamation. She went on to say that, like, AA, like sometimes the things that happen in AA don't stay in AA, and everyone just needs to be respectful and like deal with it. It was just a lot going on. It was a lot going on. And what it told me is that she was spiraling. And I don't mean like she relapsed or anything. It was just that like her train of thought had went off the deep end. And that happens to people where they're like either really overwhelmed, because when she said the AA thing and how not everything stays in AA, I was like, maybe she had a session that night on Saturday and like they had like a really raw conversation and she was just letting it all out. But it was a lot. And it just let me know that Katie shouldn't come back. Y'all want Katie to come back because she get at Ashley, she get at Giselle and Robin, but mainly because she get at Ashley. But I don't think Katie is ready or well enough to come back. Like a lot of people say how like Potomac isn't safe for Katie because of the cast and the way that they act, but not even because of the cast. For me, it's because of the viewership. Like people were in them comments being like, Katie. Then the topic of conversation came up about like, do she have her kids? And how they were like, I hope she don't have her, like where people were like, I hope she don't got her kids because this a lot. And it's like, you open yourself up to that. And I can't even be mad at those people questioning, like, are your kids okay? When you are on the internet going like this for hours upon hours, and it's just like, it's concerning. So I don't think she's ready. I also don't think Katie understands how badly she messed up her relationship with them when she abruptly left the Cash Trip on season 4 and then got on the internet talking Cash Money-ish. And it was like, girl, you already left the Cash Trip really quickly. Nobody could find you. Then you get online talking trash, and then you do like a 180 and now you're apologizing because you need the money. And I don't think they're going to give it to you because you're desperate, as well as they probably know that mentally you're not where you need to be in order to be on a show like this. And even if Katie had like years underneath her belt and if I was an executive, I wouldn't hire Katie unless Katie was like a good like maybe 5 or 7 years sober. And I could make sure that like nothing anybody would say would make her feel like she needed to like relapse or send her off the deep end. And I don't know if you can ever gauge that with somebody, but I don't know if she could be on this show. And that's just my opinion. But yeah, y'all, let's get into it. All right, y'all. So the episode opens up where it left off, where we have Jacqueline and Mia still arguing. You got Jacqueline sitting at the other on the other side of the couch where it has Giselle, Ashley, and Wendy. She's sitting at the end with her folder full of screenshots printed out. Then you got Mia sitting on the end of the couch with her like makeshift shoebox that she bedazzled with a bunch of papers in it that looked like there was nothing on them. Like not even a scribble scrabble or her writing her name. They look blank. That's why I feel like she was so quick to put it away and be like, we don't even need to go there because we can go there because I can just go there. Well, can you? Because it don't look like you got anything to go there with, So they're going back and forth. And the only thing I could, not only thing, but the things that came out, well, where Mia was lying about spending time with Jacqueline's mom on Mother's Day. She only talked to her on the phone. Jacqueline pulled out, I guess, the lease or the car note or whatever, the deed to her car, saying that like her name is on everything. They didn't really help. Even though, Jacqueline, you was sitting on TV rubbing on that lady husband talking about, everyone needs a G. They're just upset because they couldn't get help from you or anybody like you. So you played into it. So I don't feel bad for you. They then go back and forth about the text message of when Mia was in the group chat saying that, Jacqueline's house was getting foreclosed. She ain't got no money. They living off of food stamps. And Jacqueline was saying, well, at least I have my home. Like, my house is not getting foreclosed on. I have a home, but you don't have a home. And then they were going back and forth. Then Andy acts like, so when did it really go left for y'all? And Mia's whole thing is like, when she told me that I needed to get more dick in my life, when she know my husband is impotent and because he's a prostate cancer survivor. I said, pause. Why are you putting that man's business out there? Why are you telling us that man's thing don't work like that? Like, if I was G, I would cuss Mia out. Like, I would legitimately like go into that go, like when we go home and we sit in that car, I'm cussing you out because why would you put my personal business like that? Like, G has not been on TV telling us that it don't work. So why do you feel so comfortable saying that? And nobody was thinking that when she said your husband, you needed more dick in your life, that they thought your husband was impotent or that he was a prostate cancer survivor. You be making things worse because you have like word vomit. Because I said, Mia, what? Just putting that man business out there. You disrespectful. So everyone's like, what? So then Wendy asked the question that everyone wants to know, like, are y'all smashing? Are y'all smashing? And she's like, no. And Giselle said, well, you can't be really upset with us when we asked you and you're a grown woman and you left it, like you made it like an ambiguous statement and you left it up to us and y'all were playing into it with y'all taking showers together and y'all being all like, oh, we touching each other. We always like this. Y'all played into it. So then we find out that, because Jacqueline said, well, that's what Mia wanted us to do. Pretty much confirming that their storyline was fake. The throuple storyline was fake. And I'm looking at this like Mia has only been on this show for 2 seasons. Season 6, season 7. Making up fake storylines is for people who have been on the TV for like 10 seasons. It would be different. Heck, I won't even say 10, 8 seasons. It would be totally different if this was like Mia's 8th season. Like this was like season, what's it called? Season 14. If Mia was making a, not, is it 14? No, because if it's our second, no, season 15. It'd be season 15 or 4. Y'all know me and math. If this was Mia's, like, if it was like season 14, 15, or 16, I would totally be going up for like, okay, not going up, but I would be more like understanding because I'd be like, well, you gave us so much those previous seasons. But like, you've only been on here for 2 seasons and you now lying about storylines. This is lame. Like, you don't need to come back. You definitely don't need to come back because why are you doing fake storylines? And this is on your only your second season. This is giving either I don't really want y'all to know what's really going on at home, or I don't have anything. Either way, making up something that's fake is stupid to me. That's how you know Mia's not really a star or not really worthwhile as a reality star, because there's a lot of people who don't who don't make up fake storylines, but they still get in the mix, they still crack jokes, and they make themselves, like, they make their presence known to where it's like, you're okay with it. Like, girl, like Dr. Simone from Married to Medicine this season, that whole book that her and Cecil was writing gave fake storyline, but everybody was cool with it because Simone still was in the mix. She was still arguing, she still was cracking jokes, and that storyline was like a throwaway. Mia could have did that, but she didn't. So now I'm looking at her like, that's lame. I still don't feel bad for Jacqueline because at the end of the day, you played into this narrative. You were sitting over there touching that lady's husbands. When they asked you questions about it, you were being very aloof and obtuse. When what's it called? When you were around the ladies, you were like, oh, it's okay if we take showers. You played into it. The only thing that's making you mad and made you upset is the fact that Mia switched the plan and now it was like a turn on you, but she ain't tell you. She ain't tell you y'all was supposed to be beefing back and forth. It was just lame and the props were lame because nothing came out of it. I don't want to see Mia or Jacqueline back, if I'm being all the way honest. I told y'all I used to not really like Mia, but I felt like it was okay if Mia were to come back because at times she is genuinely funny to me. But this performance on the reunion in this situation, as well as the way she acts on Twitter, she can go back to like being somebody that I never knew. So can Jacqueline, because I don't see her I don't see the value of her being here. And then Candace and Wendy pissed me off championing Jacqueline when it's like Jacqueline disrespected y'all so quickly. Jacqueline for Wendy, I'm like, girl, you're stupid talking about, hey girl, send me them screenshots. When I'm like, Wendy, she was one of the people saying that she wouldn't let you back in the house after her friend assaulted you. Then Candace over there in the amen section talking about how can we bridge the gap and like, say your piece and stuff. When I'm like, when y'all were sitting at that table in Miami, Jacqueline was so quick to argue with you because of the narrative that surrounds you as being Candace Dillard on this show, as well as her friend not liking you. And you over here rubbing her back when she having a breakdown. You should have let her go cry in the corner by herself. But y'all be doing too much. Candace and Wendy was pissing me off because y'all was doing too much. Stop being friends and being nice to people that give you their ass to kiss the first time they meet you. They're not, like, that's not a good person to me, especially when it pertains to me. Like, girl, go on. So the next segment we have is with Charisse. Charisse comes out. Andy's happy to see her. She sits down. They move Ashley down the couch. Like, girl, go on somewhere. So they're sitting on the couch, and they start to talk about the situation between Karen and Charisse. And honestly, what we find out is that Karen been lying. But Karen been a liar since season 1, because Karen said her man was a black Bill Gates. Bill Gates got money to feed the country, to feed the world, okay? And probably then some. Your husband does not have that money, and we knew it from seasons 1 all the way till now, because the house that you was living in looked like it was trapped in the 80s, sis. Like, let's not do that. And the only reason y'all be going up for Karen is because she's the most improved since her season. If Karen still looked the way Karen looked season 1, y'all would still be calling her witchy poo. Y'all would still be calling out the lady, saying the lady is a liar. But the privilege to have money to make yourself look better works in Karen's favor, because Karen been a lot. We were calling Karen out when Karen had that like that auburn burnt haired wig, that brown wig. Y'all, we were all calling her out because she was a liar. I think the reason why Karen doesn't like Charisse, because Charisse screams authenticity to her. Because Charisse is the it girl. Charisse is the philanthropist. Charisse is the word around town, and Karen can't stand it because all Karen has is this show. Charisse has people outside of this show, because there's no reason why Karen has this much energy for Charisse, and why she lied. You said you haven't spoken to that lady in 5 years, but then when they roll back the tapes, you've been talking to her during that time. Because from 20, so if they filmed this in 2022, 5 years would have been 2027. Not 2027. 5 years from that would have been 2017. That's when Karen said they stopped talking. If you're going from 2020, 23, our current time, the last time they would have stopped talking would be like 2018. But the information and the pictures that they showed, Karen reached out to Charisse in 2019 to ask her to come to her event, and then she continued to reach out to her in 2018 to come to her birthday party when she turned 55. Then lied and was like, oh, that's because Charisse wanted to come. No, you invited her. Then gonna try to push it off on her assistant Matthew and be like, well, Matthew invited you. Girl, you're his boss. If you didn't want her there, because I know you checked the list, you could have told her not to be on there. So Karen is full of it, but y'all gonna let her have a pass because it's Karen. But Karen's full of it because she lied. Karen lies and y'all don't do nothing about it. She deflects and she lies, because even when she pulled out the nail filer trying to have a moment, it didn't hit because I didn't see nobody talking about it online or being like, ooh, Karen got her. Everyone was looking at Karen like, girl, you're dumb. Because Karen's whole storyline this season was nothing other than her having confrontation with Charisse, and then later on in the season having issues with Robin. Other than that, what has Karen given us? She shouldn't even been first chair. Her and Giselle should have been down, because they didn't give us nothing. They gave us nothing this season. So her and Charisse start going back and forth. They start arguing about the rumors, and Karen was like, I've never said a sexual rumor about you. Charisse was like, girl, you kept attacking my character, so it is what it is at that point. They then talk to Mia about what she said about the the restaurant owner seeing Karen out with like somebody, and Mia was just like, well, that's what they told me. And then Mia was like, Karen was like, well, do you have proof? And Mia was like, no. So Karen was like, what's the point? And it's just like Wendy said, y'all all be bringing out rumors, but the moment someone has a rumor against you, then it's like, oh no, you can't do that. Because then they flash back to when Karen was going off about Candace and Ashley talking about seeing Karen at the bar with some man, and she was like, if you ain't got proof, no receipts, then don't bring it up. And it's like, but Karen does that. Karen will bring up rumors all the time with no proof or receipts, but it's okay when Karen do it. That's the part that's annoying. That's the part that's real annoying. They get on to Robin's wedding and how they ask Karen, like, are you obsessed with Robin? because you're the only one that was harping on this wedding, which is true. Because I told y'all during the reviews, why are you harping on her getting married? Why is that such a big deal to you? And now she's married and you don't know what to say anymore because she is married. So Karen is sitting there, and Sharice even said, like, I was fine with what they were. Like, if they wanted to do this, they can do it. But Karen really didn't have nothing to say after a while, because she was like, well, you kept saying you were gonna get married and you kept delaying it and delaying it. And everyone's like, well, now she married, so what's up? Then Robin said some stupid thing where she was like, you can't judge people's relationships because you never know where you'll be at. And it's like, sis, neither will you. So they move on, and then Sharice leaves the couch. So the conversation continues with Robin. They talk about the Coppin State lawsuit. Honestly, I don't think this show is the show that's worthy of having that conversation or talking about this. And I also feel like Juan wasn't there, and he's the one that's mentioned in the lawsuit. So why did Andy ask Robin that question? To me, Robin didn't answer the question well by saying it was clickbait. I got what she was trying to say, that they were making the story more salacious by adding his name into it. But I did a video on the Coppin State lawsuit, and you could check it out in one of the drama videos. But if Juan is found negligent for what he did, then yes, he'll get sued and he'll get in trouble. But if you read the article, it doesn't seem like he did anything that was negligent. He followed the rules of the school. Now, the school definitely is liable because the young man got harmed, but it doesn't seem like Juan is. But if they find out that he is, then it is what it is. Like, pay the boy, okay? He suffered, pay him. My thing about it is, if I was Robin, I would have answered the question like this. Like, I'm not mentioning the lawsuit. My husband is. He's not here to talk about it, so I don't feel comfortable talking about it. I just hope justice is served for whoever was, for the young man that was harmed. And I would leave it at that. I would leave it at that. Or even if you don't, like, I would say if legally she was supposed to say the alleged victim that was harmed. Like, I would not, like, add my 2 cents, say it was clickbait and stuff like that, because I get what she's saying. Because Juan's name is attached to it, it made it more sensational, and it made people want to read the article because she's on this show, and now her husband's name's on this show, and he's an NBA retired NBA player. But it made it seem like she was not empathetic to the situation as a whole, and I was just like, sis, you should have just not answered the question. I'd have just been like, I'm not comfortable talking about this. My husband's not here. He's the one's mentioning it. Like, or I've been like, my lawyer told me not to really speak about this unless, like, he was here or she was here. I just wouldn't have spoke about it. They then go on to talk about the family fun day where Wendy was disinvited, but Robin was, like, going to employ Candace to ask her kids to come. And I think Robin was wrong for saying, can your kids come? But I don't think she was wrong for disinviting Wendy. If me and you just got into it and we just got the arguing back and forth, I wouldn't invite you either. Like, I wouldn't invite your whole family until we came to, like, some type of conclusion or a resolution. But it was weird for you to invite her kids. And it's like, sis, you just should have not invited anybody, because you're inviting her kids without her. And it's like, you don't like her, so why would she trust you to be around her kids? And then we find out Candace has never been with those kids by themselves. Why would you think she'd be comfortable allowing her kids to go with Candace? It was just stupid, and Robin should have just kept it to your whole family's not invited, which I, again, said I ain't had no issue with, because if I'm not cool with you, I don't want your family around either. It is what it is. So the men get on stage. Before they got on stage, we see Chris talking to Eddie, and Eddie is like, so you good? You ready? And Chris is just like, it's whatever. Like, Chris is pretty much like, if they want to get active, I'm going to get active too. I've been dealing with this for the past 10 months. If they want to talk trash, I'm going to talk trash too. And I can't fault him for it. So they get on the stage, and Andy introduces, like, does introductions with the guys. The only people that aren't there are Michael and Juan, and we know Giselle don't never have nobody sitting behind her. Mind you, I don't really think that's a big deal, but it's like, you be talking trash about other people's, like, relationships. Where your man? And not your fake man. Sherman was the last person she really liked, and Monique really messed that up for her. You hate to see it. That's low-key why I don't believe that with that little boy. Because Sherman looked like a man, like a substance. This new boy she messing with, I don't see it. I don't see it. So he goes around talking to the guys, and they get on Mia. G bust out in tears, and I did not understand why. I did not understand why. He starts talking because Andy asked G about like Mia's diagnosis and how he was like struggling and how he just like, excuse me, and how he just it was hard for him. He then starts crying. I ain't see no tears. And it just felt like he forgot his lines that Mia wrote down for him to say. I was just like, G, shut up. Shut up. It was stupid. It's just so hard to see someone you love. I was like, G, we haven't seen you be emotional throughout this whole entire situation, and you've been the most rational one. Because even when they were at that last episode of her at the dermatologist, he was basically like, oh, so it's not that serious. And now you sitting here talking about we don't have questions, we have questions but no answers. I said, in scene, stop it. The theatrics, stop it. They then asked Eddie about the Happy Eddie thing, and someone said how they like their relationship, Eddie and Wendy's relationship, and I do. I think they're a beautiful couple. It seems like it's a couple that's built on love, respect, and kindness towards one another and support. So I hope nothing on this show ever like ruptures their relationship. It really seems like they really are really good for each other. They talked to Ray. Ray looked tired. Ray looked like he want to go lay down and watch TV. The man is tired. Karen need to stop bringing him to these things, because I know he be there like, why am I here when I could be, soaking my feet or going golfing? Why am I here? Why? So we move on to what we all really want to talk about is Chris and Giselle. All right, this conversation. Giselle was wrong. I don't care what none of y'all say. Giselle was wrong. Chris is trying to explain his side of the story where he's like, I didn't like the way the line of questioning went on season 6. I wanted to talk to Giselle. I asked her to go up to the room. He's like, let's say I asked you to go up to the room. She was like, cause you did. And he was like, whatever. I asked you to go to the room. I left the door open. She was like, the door wasn't open, Chris. And he was like, yes, it was. The notch to the lock was in the door. Like the latch to the lock door was in the door. So the door didn't even close all the way. The door didn't even close all the way. So what are you talking about? So then he said you were in your robe. And she was like, I was not in a robe, Chris. He was like, yes, you were in a robe over your reunion outfit. You were on the other side of the bed. I was on the other side of the bed. We didn't even get that close. Then you asked me to go check and I left. So in that span of time, what did I do to make you feel uncomfortable? Giselle goes on about like we playing semantics, but Andy's like the semantics are important because you saying he made you feel uncomfortable versus he did something to make you feel uncomfortable are two totally different things. And then when people ask you what did he do, you can't articulate it. So it makes you look sus, lady. It makes everyone feel like you're lying, which you are, because there's nothing wrong with Giselle feeling uncomfortable. I keep saying that because your feelings are your feelings, but if you cannot articulate what somebody did, that's a you problem. That's like when white people see black people walk beside them and they clutch their purse like somebody about to steal it. That's a you problem. That's the hate and the racism in you. Because if I don't go near you or I don't touch you or I don't even acknowledge your presence and you grabbing your bag like I'm gonna snatch your purse away, that is a you problem. This is a Giselle problem. Giselle had these feelings for herself that she need to sit down on somebody's couch and work through, because not every man wants you. And the fact that you think that because of the situations that you've had, you really do need to sit down on somebody's couch and have an active conversation on how to work through that, because you made this bigger than what it needed to be by waiting to have this conversation on TV. And I definitely think Giselle knows she messed up, because there was a point as the reunion was closing down, Giselle looked like a child that got scolded, that got tore up from the flow up. I feel like Giselle knew she messed up because she didn't have that happy smile that she normally has. It was given like, oh wow. Oh wow. Like I think Giselle knows she went too far. My thing is, I don't have a problem with Giselle being a villain. I don't. I know villains are needed for shows to move forward. My issue is Giselle did something that went beyond the show and that can alter this man's life, and that has altered this man's life in some capacity. I didn't have a problem with Giselle put on that t-shirt. Did I think it was wrong? But that's TV show mess. When they had the pizza, dressed up in the pizza to go to Karen's house, TV show mess. Giselle constantly asking people questions and being in Nancy Drew and investigating everything and moving the storyline. TV show mess. But this right here went too far because it affected people's realities beyond this show. And that's wrong to me. I know people go up for Giselle. I know people love her down. I don't have a problem with you liking Giselle. I like Marisol, and people hate that lady. But I am not devoid of common sense when it comes to her, nor am I devoid of common sense when it comes to this cast. What Giselle did crossed the line, and the fact that people are still caping for her because they hate Candace says a lot. It says a lot because it doesn't make sense to me, because you would not want what Giselle did to them or to Chris done to you. And that's just true. That's true. That's just true facts right there. Like, you would not want it. So Giselle and Chris are going back and forth. Chris is saying how this has affected his kids. You know, he had to answer to his family, his kids, his businesses, all of this is. And he's like, so what did I do? And he's getting loud. Giselle is like, I'm not going to keep having this conversation with you. If you're going to be cussing at me, that's not cool. And Candace said, what's not cool is a gutter snipe ass bitch like you lying on my family. And when she put an emphasis on that B and bitch, oh, I knew that came from the pits of her stomach. And she was hot because Candace was rocking the whole time that she was sitting on that couch, and she wanted to get at Giselle. Because then she tells Giselle, she says something to the effect of like, you are the reason why women don't come out about what happens to them. Nobody said anything because they knew Giselle was wrong. It was not until Candace said, Giselle, you have a proximity to whiteness because you look like a white woman and you knew what you did. You knew you would be believed. Everyone's like, oh my God, Candace, no, too far, no. You got Ashley over here talking about, so just forget all the things that we talked about just a few minutes ago about colorism. That conversation means nothing because y'all didn't really sit down and have a conversation about colorism and all the intersections to colorism. And I don't want to hear nothing from Ashley, who been parading around like a white woman because she's with Michael. She thought she did something by sleeping with a 60-year-old or freaky deaky old man. I don't want to talk. We're not listening to this lady over here talking about reverse colorism. Then Wendy pissed me off because Wendy was like, Candace, I know you're hurt right now. But I think we might want to use a different type of language after the conversation we had. I'm like, Wendy, shut up. Because they have treated you horribly, ma'am. They have been mad disrespectful to you. In this moment, you should have supported your friend and said, or at least tried to help her clean it up. And I told y'all, I have side-eyed Wendy ever since she had that conversation or that interview with Today. And she said Ashley was the most fun, the most team player. And she saw Ashley in a different light. Wendy want to be friends with that light bulb headed fiend. She want to be friends with her. And I don't understand why she want to be friends with that lady. Because Ashley is nobody's friend. She's only loyal to herself. And I don't even know if she's loyal to herself, because you see how she made it out in the divorce. So Candace stands 10 toes down and then she said, no, I meant what I said. And that was an act of colorism. Y'all know that lady violated and harmed Candace and her husband, but because y'all feel like Candace went too far, y'all didn't try to validate Candace and her feelings. But the moment you felt like, oh, she going too far in the light-skinned woman, all of a sudden it's an issue. We gotta protect her. That's what y'all did, and rallied behind Giselle, knowing good and well what Giselle did was wrong, and it was very harmful. And then people weren't making sense online, mind you, y'all. I tweeted this. I don't stay in echo chambers. I follow everybody to a certain extent. I follow everybody because I know not everybody is going to agree with me. And I like seeing different opinions. But my Robinitas, and I don't know what to do, every Hughes, y'all not making sense because y'all are so frustrated with everybody coming at your faves. Y'all are not making sense. I saw too many people saying Candace cannot talk about colorism because she is married to a white man. That makes no sense. Does she need to wear a badge to say I'm married to a white man, so don't treat me like trash out in the real world? Is Chris showing up as like a hologram behind her when other white people and other black people see her and the people out in the world to be like, oh, we not gonna treat her bad. She married to one of them. What are y'all talking about? Candace shows up as a black woman, a brown skin or a dark skin black woman, however way you see it in this world. No one gives a rat's ass who she is married to. They're still going to treat her like trash. They're still going to disrespect her and discard her. Some people might treat her better, but the world as a whole is still going to call her names and disrespect her and undermine her. That makes no sense to me that y'all was like, well, she married to a white man. She can't speak about, like, what? She can speak about colorism and racism because it affects her, because she's still affected by it to this day, because she is a black woman, because she is a darker hue than other people. That don't make the sense. The dots weren't connecting. They weren't connecting. Then y'all are trying to say, well, Candace's kids are going to look like Giselle. Is she going to call them white? Have y'all not seen mixed kids that look black? Because one of my friends' daddy is white as hell, and she looked like me. A little bit darker when she sit in the sun. And you could not tell that she has a white parent. There's a lot of people out here that people did. We just found out Lauren London was mixed. Her daddy Jewish. Everybody thought that was a light-skinned black woman. Like, what are we talking about, y'all? It's a lot of people out here who are biracial that don't look like their other half, or they look either fully black, or we've seen kids who are biracial who do look like Giselle, or if not lighter. Are y'all don't know how Punnett squares work? Are we going through time machines and seeing what these kids gonna look like to know she can't say this? And her reaction of treating them is going to be different because she is a darker skinned person who has dealt with colorism. Her perspective is going to be totally different versus a light skinned person who benefits from colorism if they had darker skinned kids who are dealing with it. Especially if it's a light skinned person who acts like colorism isn't real versus one that does understand what colorism is and how they benefit from it, who can walk their kids through it, who are of a darker hue. Y'all not making sense. Y'all not making sense. And it don't make sense to me. Because why would y'all say that? And a lot of y'all are smarter than this. A lot of y'all are extremely smart. And y'all not making sense. Y'all not making sense. So they wind down. They ask Ray how he feels. Ray disappointed in everybody. And I'm with you too, Ray. We didn't get on the conversation about rumors about Ray out here and Karen possibly cheating. I don't know, nor do I care. You know, colorism is Karen and Giselle sitting next to Andy, and they have done nothing. They are rewarded for mediocrity because there's no reason why they're sitting next to her, next to Andy. No reason. There's no reason why Giselle should be the face of Potomac when she has not given us anything since season 3. She hasn't given us nothing since season 3, bro. Nothing iconic. But y'all go up for her. And I guarantee you none of the other housewives could do this. None of them. None of them. You go to Atlanta, if any of the antics Giselle did and we just flipped it into one of the girls in Atlanta, we be all calling for sis to be fired. We're not going to play these games. We would be calling for sis to be fired. So it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. They end the season or the episode or the reunion with them playing Insecure and everybody dancing to it. We get to the Robin interview, which wasn't really needed. All I know is Robin looks stupid trying to defend Juan. I feel like Juan should have been there because this is your fault because you out here cheating on the lady. And it was a stupid conversation. Robin looks stupid trying to sit there and be like, well, why would Candace be mad? She's mad because you omitted things, and then you were trying to hold her feet to the fire at the reunion with that whole JBL speaker when your man was out here doing things he had no business doing. Honestly, I'm done. I ain't got nothing else to say. Like I said online, I think this show needs to be put on ice, put it in rice, let it sit, let it unthaw, then leave it out to the sun to dry out. Like, I need something more than this because there was no resolution. The lady still are beefing, and it looks like if we come back for season 8, it's gonna be the same mess, and it's gonna be even more of a headache because nothing was resolved this reunion. Just stupid. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below.